Hello friends, a quick one before we get started. I want to take a moment to thank the WildWild Journeys patrons for making this trip possible. From now on, I will be referring to you as the WildWild Journeys connectors, just has a better ring to it. And if these videos mean something to you and you want to help me continue creating these films and doing what I love, then becoming a WildWild Journeys connector is the best way to do that. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the video. Good morning from Manyeleti Game Reserve. It's just gone 6 o'clock. It's a fresh, cold winter morning in the middle of July. Out on my first game drive, bright and early, first out the gate. I'm gonna head down to the most obvious starting point for the day, which is this main dam close to the camp. I think we'll just kind of watch the sunrise there, and I'll let you know what this journey is about and what the goals are here. Cool spot to start the day. Yeah, fishy eels calling, there's hippos around, Egyptian geese are going mad as usual. And yeah, last night was quite interesting as well. Heard lions roaring constantly. Even at around 4 o'clock this morning I woke up to some growling very close to the fence just near my tent. And I have a feeling there's a mating pair of lions very close to the camp there. I did come here last year, February, and it turned out to be a complete disaster. It rained constantly. I was in a really bad patch of insomnia, didn't sleep for a couple of nights at all, and just like nothing was going right, and the rain was just getting worse and worse. Eventually I got up the one morning and just decided, you know what, this isn't happening, I'm going home. So basically we are here for a second chance and to meet and understand Manyeleti Game Reserve under better circumstances. I'm here to really get as much footage as possible for a nice nature therapy video. Super excited, I hope you guys enjoy. With not much taking place at the dam, I continued on a loop which would become the go-to route on this journey. While filming the spurfowl bathing in the first sunlight, I heard something unfamiliar. Its much rarer cousin, the Shelley's francolin. Right, so it's been a bit of a birding morning, unintentionally. Actually driven past a few of the guides here that work at the lodges, and sounds like they've been seeing some lions. I think I missed some lions close to the camp this morning. I might have left too early, and some people did find those mating lions, but it's private off-road type of stuff, so when you are camping here, you got to stick to the main roads and the secondary roads if you have a 4x4, but there's a fair amount of private roads that you aren't allowed to drive on, which is fair enough. But one of the Tswalela guides, I forgot his name, like as he said it, which is typical of me, but he does the virtual safaris there, and he kindly told me about some lions which brought down a wildebeest last night, not too far from where we are now. So I just want to be clear, we aren't really chasing big 5 sightings and all that, but when the opportunity presents itself, it's not too far away, might as well go check it out. The dam was beginning to liven up, and grazers were enjoying the new emerging shoots after a fire. But I wanted to see those lions before they settled down for the day. Well, that worked out very nicely. Got there just before some other vehicles arrived, and luckily that young male stood up for us and gave us some beautiful eye contact. Anyways, it's just after 9 o'clock. There's been a cool breeze keeping the temperatures down, which is nice, so making the most of the morning. And I'm just doing this loop that eventually goes back past those lions. Not because I want to see the lions again, but I'm thinking with that carcass being left or just about to be left, and some birds of prey and vultures starting to get up into the sky, maybe we'll get some action there with the cleanup crew. Yeah, so there's a number of vultures circling. Also a tawny eagle, which is actually often one of the first birds to find a carcass. So I'm just kind of hoping they all come swooping down at the same time towards this rib cage. And I don't know, it might make for some nice shots, but it is quite harsh at the moment, the light. I've got nowhere to be, so I might as well just sit here for a few minutes and see what comes along. There's also a few jackals just a little bit back there. The vultures were lurking, but not keen enough yet, with the lions watching from under a nearby bush. With the wind picking up and a harsh, hazy light taking over, I left the scene. A more interesting scene awaited at the dam, with a variety of life arriving to enjoy their main source of water and safety in numbers. Back to camp. After last year's experience, I was very nervous to book 5 nights here, but things have changed. Right, so we're at Manyeleti main camp. Thought I'd chat a bit about this place. I think it deserves a mention because I think it's often overlooked. You'll see it as I'm walking through here. There's about 20 sites, give or take a few, and plenty of chalets just further back there. And I'd say at the moment it's about half full. If that, yesterday was a bit more busy. And I got quite lucky with the site there, just on the fence, close to the ablution. All the rest down that way were taken. Yeah, the only problem with that site is the lack of shade. And as you can see right now, it's very sunny. And I think it's getting up to around 30 degrees, which is quite warm for the middle of winter. But there is a few trees just behind the site there. We can just plonk a chair and have a nap in the shade. Yeah, my experience, as I was saying, my experience here last time was very different. I stayed at one of these sites here in the center because there were construction workers staying in some of the best campsites down there, and it was just me apart from them. As much as I love being alone, it was sad to see the place completely empty. And I think I came maybe just at the perfectly wrong time. So I met it on strange terms. Electricity's working, bathrooms are super clean and all working perfectly in great condition. Campsites like spick and span, water, and these are all the things that I didn't have last time and really put me off. Well done, Mpumalanga Tourism and Manyeleti Game Reserve. And that just then complements the fantastic sightings and game drives you can have in this place, because my word, it is wild. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. We are just on the edge of Kruger. There's no fences between here and the national park, which is just a few kilometers that way. Open system, Orpin's not too far from here, a little bit north. And when I looked at the availability in Kruger for this week, it is totally packed. So if you're ever looking to do a last minute trip to the Kruger and you're struggling to find accommodation, then I think this is a really good alternative. The afternoon was spent mostly in the south, with hopes of similar scenes to this morning at another large dam. But surprisingly, this wasn't the case. Well, it's been an interesting drive, very different from this morning. I left camp at 2:30, and the first mammal I saw was at 4 o'clock on the dot, a small herd of impalas. Not complaining, it's been a beautiful drive. Came down south and then east all the way towards the Kruger boundary, which is an invisible boundary. And went past a few dams, and not much happening there compared to the main dam, like hardly any activity, even bird life. Come back west and there's a hyena on the road who's obviously quite interested in the scent, seems to be following it, went off into the bush. And now just starting to notice a bit of change. Obviously the light is getting a bit softer. It's weird, it's like this subtle vibe change. And it has me like very excited for this last hour of the drive. Gonna head back towards the camp and maybe a little bit past it, because there seems to be a lot of activity around there. And yeah, believe it or not, animals like lots of water. running past my tent at some point, being naughty. I think sometimes things like hyenas do get in. I'm gonna make a cup of coffee and try to decide on which direction to go this morning. Right, so I've made up my mind, kind of. I forgot about those buffalo. I'm gonna go see if they are findable. It's not too far from camp, and you never know what else they might have attracted overnight. No luck with planned buffalo, but the route still delivered exactly what I was hoping for. So I'm just sat here in this riverbed on the way to like the western side of the main dam. Jeez, like what a peaceful spot. This morning has just been so lovely, like so easygoing, slow, relaxing. I was having a good morning already, and then that lion appeared as I turned a bend. Big old boy, looks like he's definitely been through a lot. Anyways, I'm sitting here and I can hear a giant eagle owl calling from one of the trees up there. I just can't see it, which means I can't list it. And it's just reminded me that I should probably address the elephant in the room. I know some of you have been asking what happened to the On the Wing series. And just to kind of be completely honest with you and put it a little bit in a nutshell, it's carrying on in the background, but I cannot, unfortunately, focus on it in terms of just bringing out an On the Wing video every 3 or 4 weeks or so. The audience is just way too narrow for the channel to survive like that. There might be some more On the Wing videos later on this year, but for now I have to do what's sustainable for the channel, otherwise we just cannot continue at all. I think I'm gonna carry on now. It's like difficult to leave the spot, it's very peaceful, but let's see what lies ahead of us. This dam is the perfect spot to fall back on as temperatures rise throughout the mornings. A place where you can fall into a meditative state by simply observing. A pattern seemed to be developing. There's a brief window in the first 2 hours of the morning and the last 1 hour of the day where finding subjects to film in decent light was doable. It seems obvious, and it is, but anything outside those small windows was incredibly difficult. So, every night I've been having sweet potato and onion in the tin foil, and some sort of meat. Tonight is peri-peri chicken drumlets, and then there'll be leftovers, hopefully. That's the plan at least. There were no leftovers. the plan for the morning is to head down south because I haven't been down that way in the morning and I want to give it a fair chance. Because it's quite obvious to me that the mornings are better than the afternoons at the moment. In particular, I really want to do these roads called S11 and S10. I remember them being really pretty last time I was here for my brief stay. And hopefully we can get some nice subjects to film and maybe even photograph down there in that environment. It's right on the border of Sabi Sands. It is no doubt one of the most beautiful areas on the reserve. Kind of reached a bit of a dead end here. I think the road's washed away and I can see no one's driven here for a while. There's another route that carries on east, but it's a private concession road. And I think it's a good excuse to just do this road in reverse. I'm going to head back the way I came from. The reason I know that's a private concession road is the maps I'm using on my phone. So they did tell me about this at reception. And if you are visiting, you can download it. It's called ArcGIS Field Maps, and then you download within the app the Manyeleti map, and it's very detailed, perfect. It shows exactly where you are, regardless of whether you have signal or not. After a slow morning sightings-wise, I finished off with another routine stop at the dam. The afternoon began with, believe it or not, my very first owl sighting of the year. We are back out for an afternoon drive. I think it's around 34 degrees, quite warm today again. And I've just stopped in this riverbed once again for about 40 minutes. I've just been sitting here enjoying the shade first of all, and just listening to the birds and the odd crack in the distance of a branch. Yeah, I think if you're a birder, a keen birder, then this is a good spot to just park off and let the bird parties kind of develop around you. It's quite productive. But anyways, I think it's time to move on. Hopefully it's going to cool down soon. I'm going to just try stick within 4 kilometers of that big dam, because I think that's pretty much where all the action is. That's what I've decided. I'm probably wrong, but last 2 drives were a little bit quiet compared to the first few, so hopefully I'm right. With filming a nature therapy video as my primary goal here, I needed to be filming more intentionally, holding shots for longer and becoming a little less run and gun or on the fly in my method. But the drives were becoming increasingly difficult when it came to sightings. I want to show you something. This happened yesterday as well. The baboons here are absolutely crazy. They actually try and zip the tents. Check, they tried both sides, but look here, they tried here even as well with this cable tie on. So yeah, just a heads up, the baboons are nuts here, especially in winter. They also opened up my bag of charcoal. There was just charcoal everywhere. So anything that resembles food or a packet or anything colorful, they just go for. And even a locked, closed tent, they just try to get in anyway, so be very, very careful. Yeah, that was a struggle. A few birds, which is always welcome, but in general a struggle, especially with mammals. Phew, I'm trying to put together this nature therapy video, and I don't know if I've got enough to make like a decent length one, because I want it to be long enough, nice and slow and immersive. But if it's like only 20 minutes long, I don't like putting that out, you know. So hopefully things turn around tomorrow. I'm gonna light a fire, open up a beer, and just like think of what I can do differently to give myself a better chance tomorrow morning. I stepped out of my tent to find a welcoming blanket of mist hanging over the camp. A photographer's dream, especially after the cloudless mornings experienced so far. It's something different and atmospheric. My idea was to stop searching with an underlying sense of anxiety and to rather sit at a high open point and listen. was just busy filming sunrise and droplets on the grass, etc. I hear a lion calling, turn around, and eventually this lion comes running out of the mist and seems like it's on quite a mission. Softly vocalizing every now and then, and looks very curious and interested in what's happening this side. Walking, jogging. So I'm hoping that it leads to something, maybe meeting up with some other lions. It's looking for other lions for sure. So let's see what comes of this. I'm just joined by a game viewer. Yeah, very exciting. With more game viewers arriving, I left before overstaying my welcome. The mist was melting away by another unusually hot winter's day, once again narrowing that morning window of opportunity. Apart from kurus and an entertaining troop of baboons, another slow afternoon was had. I get the feeling that the incredible flooding which took place here earlier this year is having a lasting impact on the ecosystem. I believe it's all a necessary part of the cycles taking place out here, but things are certainly different to what is usually expected at this time of year. I'm sure the knock-on effect is massive, and I don't think we even truly understand it. I certainly don't claim to. One last short drive. Misty again this morning. And yeah, I'm feeling kind of weird this morning, to be honest. I really don't want to leave. That happens in all trips, but this time more than ever. It's been a challenging year for myself and the channel, to say the least. I definitely had lingering thoughts about this not only being the final drive of this journey, but possibly the overall journey. It's impossible to imagine, but in truth, it has been a real possibility. Having said that, there's nothing like some fresh lion tracks to lift the mood. So I got pretty sidetracked, found lion tracks coming from the main dam, going all the way past the main camp and down towards this other gate. Been following them for quite a while now. They look fairly fresh, but yeah, it's quite interesting. You can just see what this one lion has done here. If I just turn this around, you can see the lion tracks coming down here, and over here it pauses, sits down. You can kind of see where its legs sit on the ground, probably like listening to something or deciding something, and then starts taking a left here And I'm not too sure if maybe it goes off into the bush there. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping for the best here because this is the last drive, so I'm kind of like putting my eggs in this little basket. If I don't come right soon, then I think I'll just continue on. I didn't, but what did come right was a way of thinking. What I found was a reminder of why I love this so much. The excitement of potentially finding something wild and free in the morning mist. Becoming something wild and free while doing so. The uncertainty of life is mirrored out here. Maybe it's time to sit at a high open point, have a clear understanding of the bigger picture, and listen. The rest, well, I never really know. And that's the beauty of it. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon.